Hello, welcome to today's presentation. We're going to be talking about finding help and healing from opioid addiction today. As you can see, opioid addiction has really become an epidemic. 7 out of 10 drug deaths involve opioids, and you can see with 60,000 opioid deaths annually, it is a very big problem. In fact, in the last 25 years, overdose deaths from opioids have risen by 4 times, nearing 5 times as much. So we want to talk about this today and help you find healing and help. Now, as people get caught in addiction, there is a lot that happens in our minds, causing despair, discouragement. We isolate a lot. I'm going to share with you some of my personal story as we go through our presentation. Part of that is that my dad was addicted to prescription drugs for most all of his life. It started after using opioids for a knee surgery recovery, but he really never got on top of that. And it was a difficult thing to watch him struggle. My own history with addiction involves a 40-year battle with eating disorder behaviors. I can tell you the despair is real, the discouragement is real. I isolated because I just felt so much shame, so much guilt. And every time I tried to recover, there were just obstacles. I couldn't get it. It took such a long time. If you are caught in addiction, feeling these things, we are here to help you. Let's look at some ways. Where do you start? These must be questions on your mind if you're feeling the trap of addiction in your life. The first thing to do is find some courage to start talking. Again, the isolation is a big factor. Addiction doesn't want us to get better, it wants us to stay stuck. So, trying to break out of that is part of the very beginnings of the journey, and that starts with talking. Find a person you can trust who will support you and start talking to them. That's one way to begin the journey. Now let's talk about specific ways you can find some help and healing. One of those is group therapy. This is a really great place to find support, to find understanding. I spent a lot of years in group therapy sessions, and one thing that I came away from it with was knowing that I'm not alone. Again, that breaks into the isolation factor of addiction. When you explain something in a group setting and people are nodding their heads, you can be guaranteed they understand it. They get it. They know where you're coming from. That is quite a big factor in recovery because you feel alone a lot of times, like nobody understands, or you don't want to get involved because, again, the shame factor is very huge as well. So, group therapy is a place to find some understanding, some support, and help. Another place to find help is with individual counseling. This is a great place to go because you will be talking to someone who is professionally trained to listen to you, to evaluate what's happening, and to help you develop skills to cope with the addiction, to find ways to take down the negative talk. Start slowly replacing with positive talk, with positive actions, positive activities to replace the addictive behavior. So I would encourage you also to look into individual counseling. I know for me, my counselor's office became a safe place where I could talk about anything. And that's a very big benefit because sometimes even with the trusted individual, you don't want to go into the gory details, so to speak. But a counselor, they're trained to listen to those things and to help you through them. One more place for help that we'll talk about today is residential treatment. The nature of addiction is such that it is extremely difficult to break those chains. And a lot of times it's going to take the specialized care of 24/7 treatment, and it might take a while. I'm here to tell you that it is not a fast process. It will take time. I went to 3 different treatment centers throughout my work on recovery, and I know my dad entered a lot of them as well. It's a place where you can see that you can live without the behavior. You're in a situation where the behaviors can't happen. So after a while, you realize, wow, I am living without it. And now it takes training to continue to live without it outside those walls, but to find a place where you truly are living free of the substances is a great benefit. It's a safe environment and a place to find, again, hope from others who are also trying to recover. Now, these are just some options to try. Again, it will take a lot of time, but how do we continue to make progress? That is the big question with addiction recovery. One thing, again, I will come back to is the isolation. It is a big factor. Don't isolate yourself. Keep talking, keep engaging with other people. Try to find the things that you find joy in to replace the addictive behaviors. And above all, move forward from setbacks. There will be setbacks. Addiction recovery doesn't happen with one try. It will take a lot of time, and it will take a lot of that courage to get back on when you have a lapse. Get back on the path. It is okay. Just keep moving forward. Sometimes the forward progress is up, down, and up, down as you move forward. And that's okay. That is okay. We want you to move forward. Keep going. Is it worth it? Yes, it is worth the effort. Like I said, my dad never fully recovered. This man, to me, just looks at peace. I like to imagine that maybe my dad could have found that also, but I love the look on his face, the calmness, the strength that he shows in just living. And I think one of the greatest things about addiction recovery and being free of it is being able to live like that. Now, I'm not saying that there will be no problems once you're free of the addiction, because life is full of them. We all have to manage things, but without the addiction, you can manage them with calm mind, an ability to think clearly, and to live life with real intent, focused on what you really want to do. And that is what is available with recovery, this kind of hope, this kind of life. As we end, I want you to look at these pictures of these smiles. I just love them. To me, these smiles come from the core, right from the center of these people's souls. In the addiction, I promise that the smiles are pretty much on the surface. These are smiles from deep within. This is what you can find with recovery. I hope that you will step on the path, whatever it takes, whatever small step that you need to take to start today. As small as it is okay. Small, big, whatever it is, get on it, get going. You can break free and live free. Thank you for watching today.